Hey, I'm here to read bad job descriptions and help you fix it. Also, if you're trying to break into the field, I'm going to give you some red flags and also say what's on your mind when you read this train wreck of a job description. This is one of those that I call a kitchen sink job description. This has so many requirements in it, and what's crazy is they're all bad. These requirements are so terrible that anyone with any credibility is going to look straight at this and go, nope, hard no. And if you are trying to break into the field, these are going to be just massive time sinks. Avoid them. Because if you get that first phone call, if you get an interview, you're probably going through like 3 rounds of worthless interviews just to get to the end and get offered this stupid job, and they probably don't pay anything. So avoid these types of kitchen sink job descriptions. Now, let's walk through this absolute joke of a job. And the first red flag is work with the advanced analytics products team. This is not a data scientist role. This says data scientist in the job title. This is not a data scientist role. This is an analyst role, which is fine. Starting out in the field, trying to break in, going into an analyst role that works with a data science team is an awesome way to get your start. But anytime you see an analyst mislabeled as a data scientist, you are looking at a team that doesn't know what they do. They are selling either the organization or potentially clients. They're selling machine learning, but they're delivering analytics. And if you spend too much time on one of these teams, your skills degrade massively. And so if you are in one of these hiring organizations where you have an advanced analytics team, just call it an analyst. Do not overtitle your job because you are immediately attracting the wrong kind of talent and you're going to have an impossible time filling the actual need detailed in this job. So don't do this. And this whole first paragraph is like, come on. You want me to perform statistical machine learning analysis using, I mean, this is the voice that's going through my head. I hear Goofy reading this job description because that's what I hear. This is stupid. This is kind of, I mean, almost insulting to anyone that reads it because you're insulting my intelligence. You're trying to get me, I mean, using applied analytics and artificial intelligence. No, no one's using artificial intelligence. Take that word out. Unless you are seriously trying to build an AI, don't put AI in your job description. It's clownish. Now, work assignments. This is actually good. This is awesome. I wouldn't lead with it, but it's not bad. So statistical machine learning analysis and model development using a variety of techniques and tools, primarily in Python. Awesome. I got it. That's perfect. Like you don't need all of that, but I get it. I'm good with that. Test-driven development in Python. Yes. Analytics use case development. Yes. Specific. I know what I'm doing. Advanced interactive data visualization. And you even give me like what you're kind of looking for. Which packages, which libraries are you looking for? Awesome. Code and data management. Yes, this is an applied role. This is good. After, okay, I don't like doing support, but thank you for letting me know. I appreciate that up front, telling me that there's going to be support. So you saw in that first section, I looked at it and said, this is ignorant. But now you have this excellent work assignment section. This is great. I understand the role. I mean, so take that top part out. Call this an analyst's role because that's really what all of this is focused on is analysis and visualization. This is awesome. Now it gets dumb. And this is what a lot of data science jobs that end up getting classified as clown car or kitchen sink do wrong is they have these wonderful sections and then they have this garbage. It's like another group just showed up and said, well, we got to put all this other stuff in for some reason that doesn't make any sense. And this is what you get. Like you have gone from a credible job with a senior or mid-level analyst job description to mistitled and just nonsensical. Like, don't make me read all this stuff. And I'm going to go through it. But the main theme is just take this out. Just get to the point. Be specific like they did in that top section. That was awesome. But then don't go in and do this kitchen sink. I don't even know why you put this in there type language. A competitive candidate. Who am I competing with? Are you serious? Who am I competing with? When I read this, I'm not competing with anyone. So, demonstrated professional experience with statistical analysis and machine learning model development. You already said that in the section above. Like, I got that. That came from the section above. That's repetitive. Don't be repetitive. Strong quantitative formal education. BS, but preferably a graduate degree in statistics, mathematics, data analysis, or comparable field. Which comparable field? I mean, if you're looking at or comparable field, just say, I'm looking for, that first few words, strong quantitative formal education. That's it. That's good enough. Don't say bachelor's or master's or PhD. That's a good enough. That's a fine requirement, because as soon as you put in which degree level that you're looking for, it's like, come on, I got it from those first four words. Proven high level ability, high level, like what's a high level ability? To interpret and communicate statistical results effectively to business in formal technical reports, presentations, and verbally. I mean, that's kind of nice. Like, I like to understand some very specific things, like formal technical reports, awesome. Presentations, awesome. Verbally, awesome. But to business, like who? Who in the business am I talking to? Be specific. Like, give me a level that I'm talking to. So you got like this half great requirement, but that requirement could have been up above in that communications visualization section. That could have been an add-on to that one particular line. Don't make it a whole different line. And remember, what audience am I talking to? Now, isn't this the same thing? It's the same thing. Technical resources at all levels, like it's just as non-specific as the line above, but you added a whole nother line for that. Be an idea person? Ability to see analytics problems in the real world, quickly proposes potential ideas to solve them, and knows how to execute on those ideas. What ideas? What is your business problem? What are the business cases that this person is expected to be able to handle? Like, I don't know what that is. Be an idea person? Okay. I mean, why be vague? We expect you to come up with new ideas around, and here's your business cases or here's your business problems. Be specific. If you want to put this line in a job description, don't be so vague. I mean, this makes it sound like you don't know what business cases. How do you not know what business problems you solve? I mean, if you're expecting this person to be able to solve any business problem, they're not going to. That's not how it works. That nobody can solve every business problem. Nobody can apply every technology. There's no one like that. So be specific in what business problems, and it's even a good idea to segment your roles based on this sort of overarching umbrella of business problems that each type of data scientist can solve. It's a specialization for many of us that focuses on what kind of problems we solve. So be more specific and think about segmenting based on what business problems you're going to solve. And if you are trying to break into the field, when you see a line like this means they're looking for somebody who could solve any problem. And that's a huge setup for failure. This is not a role you want, because they'll be throwing anything at you, anything and everything at you as far as business cases and business problems. And that's a setup for failure. You eventually will find a problem that you can't solve effectively because you don't have the background to do it. And they're going to throw that at you and expect you to create a solution, and it's going to tank. And that's setting you up for failure. And it's not only that, it's kind of demoralizing to be in a business where that's the expectation, and it's just not reasonable. So anytime you see an unreasonable expectation where they're like, you could get anything, good luck, that's a setup for failure. Avoid those. Work collaboratively to solve analytics problems quickly and with excellence. I want someone with excellence. I hear that all the time. Like, what is excellence? Come on. We all think we're excellent, right? All of us strive for excellence. What is excellence to you? Come on. Ability to lead and participate in analytic work from inception to completion with minimal to no guidance and deliver exceptional results. I would never give anyone who works under me no guidance. That's an idiot leader. Think about that. If you were in charge of a group, Would you give someone no guidance? What? That's a setup to fail. And again, this is a setup to fail. This team has no leadership. And you want to listen for these types of requirements, because what it means is I'm going to drop something on your desk and run. I'm going to be an inaccessible leader. Do you seriously want to work for that idiot that's not going to give you any guidance? Really? Come on. Even very, very senior, very technical people, I'm going to give them guidance. Why? I'm bringing a perspective from the business to them. I'm going to get them in touch with product managers. I'm going to get them in touch with people who are voices of the customer. I'm going to get them in touch with people who can give them solid requirements and guidance. And then I myself am going to provide them a layer of oversight, which ends up being sort of this safety net. So if something starts getting off the rails, there's a safety net in place that will catch them and prevent them from delivering a bad project. That's preventing them from being set up to fail. That's what it means to lead. And when you see requirements like this, that's not a leader on the team. That's just somebody who's going to drop and run. That's a project manager, not a leader. And you want to work with leaders, or your career will be significantly limited, and what you produce will have no connection to reality in many cases, because no guidance? Are you serious? How do you deliver exceptional results if you're not going to get any guidance? That's stupid. That's idiotic. Strong verbal and written communication. You said that above. Why be repetitive? Positive attitude and team player, bringing innovation to... I mean, that sounds like, the beginning of a TED Talk, not a job description. Come on. Open to work on existing or new software. And that's a cool job requirement. Like, you've let me know something about the job. I'm working on both new projects and legacy. That's awesome. That's great. It's like a gem in this absolute sludge. When you're writing a job description, make sure your gems are sitting by themselves with as few other distractions around them, because I could very easily, if I'm not slowly and methodically reading this job description, I could very easily just gloss over that because it's in the middle of such trash. So that's one of the big reasons why you don't want a ton of these line items, because at some point the person reading the job description tunes out and they might miss that. And that's an awesome requirement. Willingness to share knowledge with the team and mentor. You are a trainer and a mentor. You are a teacher, or you are a collaborator. You will work together with the team. So this is good, but I would tweak it in a way to make sure it says you're expected to maybe mentor. You are expected to collaborate. You're expected to be able to hand off projects and have documentation done such that somebody else can either continue, confirm, maintain. That's what you want to say, because that's important. You're not a solo, siloed data scientist, and a lot of data scientists are. So if you're writing a job description, this is a good thing to specify, but specify it in a clearer way. Make sure I understand, am I a mentor? Am I a teacher? Am I a technical lead? Am I someone who's handing off projects or getting projects handed off to me? Those are good things to detail, but make sure you're specific about what type of role and what type of knowledge sharing could happen, because they're different, and it's good to call them out. Readiness to adapt to changes in tooling and technologies depending upon the needs of the analysis or the organization. Okay, there's a lot to unpack here. It's good. Yes, we're going to have to adapt to changes in tooling and technology, and that's huge. But what this is basically telling me is I'm going to be taking rapid fire client work, and everyone's tech stack's going to be different. That's a setup to fail, because we can, and I say this a lot, we can come up to speed when we're at the mid-level and senior level. We can come up to speed fast on tools and technologies, but there's a limit. If you're giving me projects that have a 2-month duration where I've got to go soup to finish, or ingredients to soup in 2 months or 3 months, and I'm going to spend 2 weeks coming up to speed on a new tech stack, I'm set up to fail. It's simply unfeasible. So if you're writing this job description, make sure that it's, again, segment it. Group your data scientists into a specific set of tools, even if that tool set is broad. There are some of us out there who have really broad, deep knowledge of multiple tool sets. And so we're going to be great at this type of a role. But you also need to realize that even someone like me who's been doing this forever, there are tech stacks that I'm not familiar with. And they're tech stacks that it's going to take me a few weeks to come up to speed in order to build a quality product. So make sure you have your roles segmented and you don't set up data scientists for failure. And again, if you're trying to break into the data science world, or if you're trying to move up in your career, when you see something like this is a setup for failure. This is a huge red flag that you don't want to be on this team because your role will set you up at some point for failure. Ability to collaborate. Again, this is repetitive. You want to be able to incorporate feedback from peers and leaders. It's repetitive. Just don't do it. I know what you're trying to say. I know you're trying to get rid of the people who are unable to work in a team environment. I get it. Just say that. Just say that. Because if you've worked in a team environment, this is part of that. Incorporating feedback and continually improving. But if you're saying incorporating feedback, and this is one of those red flags that if you're working on getting a new job, this is a huge red flag. They say seek to incorporate feedback from peers and leaders, but they also say that in your projects, you're going to work with minimal to no guidance. That means you've got somebody who's going to fly in, evaluate your project, yell about what they don't like, and then book. They're not going to give you any solutions. They're just going to say, yo, this is bad. Good luck. You'll need it. This is a huge red flag for a work environment where all you're going to get is criticism and you're not going to get solutions. That's what this screams. It's a terrible leadership environment, and you can smell the bad culture just by reading this job description. It's bad. So if you're trying to break into the field, this is something you want to avoid at all costs. Don't go work for these types of teams. Now, technical skills, professional experience, again, competitive candidate, come on. Really? 3+ years of proven, 3 years? Well, what's the difference between somebody with 2 years and 3 years? Well, why not 4 years? Why not 1 year? So years of experience are one of those arbitrary requirements that has no correlation to employee outcomes. Take it off your job description because all it's going to do is eliminate potentially qualified candidates. That's all. And for somebody like me, as soon as I see 3+ years I'm thinking, okay, junior role, I don't want this. And so you are eliminating, you are just scaring off people who are experienced, and they're going to look at that requirement and just go, okay, so rookie, got it. I'm not a rookie. Developing advanced statistical and machine learning models using a variety of techniques. And come on, you said that above. Performing statistical analysis using a variety of techniques. This is kind of good. You know, this right here is kind of good. You're getting specific. It sounds, like you know specifically what you're using on a regular basis. And that gives me confidence that you understand the role. That's awesome, especially when you call out something like ANOVA. That tells me something about the type of work that you're doing, and that's awesome. If you can tie each one of these, as someone who's writing a job description, if you can tie these to some sort of work product or business problem, that's even better because now you're giving me a level of confidence that you know what this person is doing, and I'm not just going to be thrown to the wolves with any project possibly. And so that's good. That's not a bad thing. Strong code management processes and that's awesome. This is awesome. I love this job requirement. Interpreting complex analytical results for business audiences through exceptional communication. Again, be specific. Who? Who am I talking to? And remember, this is repetitive. You've said this 4 times. Why are you saying it again? Excellent data wrangling ability. SQL, that's what we do. Come on. Don't be repetitive. Again, test-driven development. That's awesome. TDD. I like that, but you said it above. Why are you saying it again? The following experience is beneficial. I like that wording, beneficial. That's perfect. I love that. Salesforce Einstein. I mean, that's good to know because there's not a lot of us that use Salesforce. I'll be honest, that's niche. And I like knowing that up front because it helps me understand I might not be a good fit for this because I've worked with Salesforce, but not a lot. knowledge of cloud computing technologies. I like the way that's worded because a lot of times people will say, I want AWS. That's not very specific. Or I want GCP. And that's not very specific because those are huge services. But when you say knowledge of cloud computing technologies, I get it. Okay, you're looking for somebody who has knowledge of these, not I know all of it. That's great wording. Hadoop platform and technologies. Okay, that kind of scares me because Hadoop's legacy, but you told me that above. You said I may be working with existing software legacy platforms. So that now makes more sense, which is awesome. Docker Swarm, I love how specific this is. That's perfect. You're telling me about your technology stack. You're relating it to a lot of your cloud and distributed technologies. That's perfect. Model deployment into production environments using various frameworks. I like that. That's perfect. Tells me this is a production-facing role. I'm expected to produce and implement. That's great. It's good to know. A specific industry. Huge. Put that in your job description. Unbelievable. So you see, this is a mixed bag. I call it a kitchen sink joke job description because whoever wrote this had somebody else come in and just garbage water it down. And that's horrible. Don't let, if you're a hiring manager, if you're a data scientist and you're hiring, don't let somebody come in and do this to your job description. Because I can tell more than one person wrote this and somebody got in there with their red pen and just added trash, which this whole section and the fact that so many of these are repetitive and, half of them are great specifics and half of them are vague. This could be a completely legit job. But there's so much trash in here that I'm not going to apply for this. And no one with any level of competence is going to. If you're breaking into the field, huge leadership red flags all over this job description. I'm significantly worried about the culture of this company. And it's because somebody threw in a lot of garbage. This could be a great leader. But what comes through to me is this person doesn't actually lead. This person is just fly-by criticizing work and telling you, fix it, instead of telling you how to fix it. They're not supporting you. They're not setting you up for success. You are set up for failure. And a lot of times when you have these lengthy, massive job descriptions, number one, the good requirements get hidden and you don't really read all the way through. I mean, at some point you just start scanning. This is huge. But you also may be inadvertently sending out these massive red flags. So don't let somebody else pressure you into writing requirements in your job description that you actually don't need. Don't force yourself to repeat yourself just to fit in with somebody else's framework. Just tell them no. If you're a hiring manager, you're the expert. Don't let somebody else in another group tell you, oh, you need to add this in order for it to be complete or compliant. No, you don't. You don't. Push back. Tell them no. Don't add anything to my job description. My job description's perfect. I know I'm the expert. You're not. Stop. You have to push back. And if you're in an HR group or something like that watching this, which I doubt, but if you're in an HR group watching this and you add something like this to a job description, you're the problem. If you're wondering why you're getting all sorts of garbage resumes, you're the problem. Get out of the way. So hopefully, I've given you some red flags if you're trying to break into the field. And if you're writing job descriptions, I hope I've given you some advice that helps you to fix them and prevent yourself from looking like a joke of a company to work for.